Thanks.
Okay, we are live. Hi everyone, the Ecolab webinar will begin very soon, so just sit back and relax for the time being. So we will just wait for some of the audience to join in. It will take some time to enter this session. I think we have a good number, right? Very nice. All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Ecolab webinar series. My name is Ryan, and I'm leading the Smart Cities and Future Mobility efforts at Ecolab Center of Innovation for Energy, or Ecolab for short. I'll be hosting this session. Ecolab, jointly established by the Nanyang Technological University, Enterprise Singapore, and Sustainable Energy Association Singapore, is aimed to build and accelerate tech energy innovation capabilities in Singapore to support the nation's future energy transition. This joint initiative aims to help Singapore-based energy startups and SMEs successfully commercialize and scale their innovation efforts by providing them with the following: translational research, living test kits, innovation programs, funding partners, and community platforms. As the COVID situation is ongoing, we are organizing the Ecolab webinar series to continue the engagement and interaction with our partners, where we invite industry experts to share their insights on a weekly basis. This webinar series comprises of 5 Startup Series, Insight Series, Corporate Series, Investor Series, and Ecolab Series, each focusing on the different aspects of innovation ecosystem. Today's session is part of Ecolab's Insight webinar series to provide industrial and market insights to understand and navigate the innovation journey in the energy sector. You will also learn about the different aspects of the startup ecosystem, market analysis, and what to look out for and where are the different opportunities in Singapore and beyond. Today's webinar is part of a partnership between Ecolab and High Commission of Canada in Singapore, with support from the Alacrity Canada, Platform Calgary, and Invest Ottawa, where Ecolab is partnered with High Commission of Canada in Singapore in market entry programs and test beds in cross-border support for startup and technology innovation. Today's webinar titled In Canada, a conversation on Cleantech innovation, jointly presented by the representatives from High Commission of Canada in Singapore, Alacrity Canada, Platform Calgary, and Invest Ottawa. In the session, we'll learn about the Canada's Cleantech sector and how you can grow your business in Canada. And you also hear from the 3 Canadian organizations in accelerating Cleantech growth and promoting innovation in the area of energy and mobility. As we have a busy schedule to give an overview of the exciting opportunity and insight in Canada, we would have the Q&A jointly at the end of the session. So a gentle reminder to all speakers to kindly limit your presentation to 10 minutes so that we can have sufficient time for Q&A at the end. If any of the attendees have any questions during the presentation or at the interaction, you can key in your question in Q&A box or raise your hand so that we can unmute you to voice your question. Now, without further ado, we'd like to invite Ms. Cathryn Mourand, Trade Commissioner at High Commission of Canada in Singapore, to give an introduction to the Canadian Cleantech sector. Cathryn has been working as a Trade Commissioner at the High Commission of Canada in Singapore since 2013, and is currently responsible for the sectors of clean technology, defense, and education. She joined Global Affairs Canada in 2006 and held various trade and investment positions in Ottawa, and was also posted to Malaysia from 2009 to 2012. Cathryn also worked for 2 years in the telecommunication industry in Sydney prior to joining the government of Canada. Cathryn, please. Cathryn, you are on mute.
Yes, thank you, Ryan. Is it possible to put up my slides just because I can't share my screen?
All right, just give me one.
Yeah, sure. Well, I can just start by introducing myself. Good morning, everyone. So my role today will be to give you a quick overview of the clean tech sector in Canada. So we'll wait for my slides to be up. Oh, there you go. You can already move to slide 2, please. Okay. Just a second.
Sorry, it's just gotten off. Just give me one.
It's okay. Yeah, okay, perfect. So these slides illustrate that clean tech in general is a very important global industry, and it's expected to reach $2.5 trillion by 2022, according to analytics advisors. So based on Canadian data, our most recent Canadian data, there are over 850 Canadian clean tech companies, and 99% of them are SMEs. They are strong in intellectual property, exports, and experience. These companies are also not all young. 70% of them are over 5 years old and led by seasoned entrepreneurs. There's an interesting fact that I'd like to share is that Canadian clean tech companies actually produce more IP compared to the health and ICT sector. I found that fact actually quite interesting. Canada as a country is also fully committed to clean technologies. Various funds and programs are in place in the country to support the industry growth and the innovation in this sector. We can move to next slide. Thank you. So this is a snapshot of the clean tech capabilities across Canada. There's a lot of information on this slide. So I'll just sort of pinpoint to a few areas and clusters. So first of all, there's the hydrogen and fuel cell clusters. Canada's recognized internationally as a global leader in hydrogen and fuel cell technologies, with a leading presence in British Columbia. There's also carbon capture, utilization, and storage. There are many cutting-edge projects taking place in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia. Canada's energy storage industry is also rapidly building momentum with leading technologies and showcase installations. Ontario is also a leading jurisdiction for energy storage in North America. We are also pioneering smart grid deployment across the country with world-leading knowledge and expertise also based in Ontario. E-mobility is also an area that we are focused on. There's exciting forward-looking activities taking place in Quebec, Ontario, and British Columbia, really shaping the future of electric mobility. And finally, renewable energy. In Canada, renewable energy sources are generating 64% of Canada's total electricity. The main source of energy is hydro. But there's also interesting tidal energy demonstration project taking place in the maritime, harnessing some of the highest tides in the world. We can move to the next slide. Thank you. So Canadian clean tech companies are gaining more notice globally for their potential impact, as demonstrated by the Cleantech Group Global Cleantech 100 list. So this is a comprehensive assessment of clean tech companies expected to have a major global impact over the next 5 years. So as you can see from this slide, since 2009, Canada's gone a long way, and the performance of Canadian companies has really climbed to having, above 10 companies on this list for the last couple of years. Next slide, Brian. Thank you. There is strong government policy supporting innovation in Canada. For instance, Canada invested $950 million in innovation superclusters. we have 5 superclusters that have pulled together more than 450 businesses, also academics, institutions, and other participants. The government is also matching private sector investment, $1 for $1 in these superclusters. So the 5 main superclusters are digital technology, located in British Columbia, protein industry in the Prairies, advanced manufacturing supercluster in Southern Ontario, AI in Quebec, and ocean superclusters in the Maritime. So these superclusters, I mean, Cleantech is sort of an industry that cut across many different industry. But yeah, there's a lot of different programs and funding and expertise available in Canada. Next slide, Ryan. Thank you. So Canada's cleantech sector brings some competitive advantages. We have a highly trained and diverse workforce with growing emphasis on a better gender balance. We have strong immigration policies allowing the country to attract and retain top global talent. In fact, my colleague, Cathryn Carlson, who'll be speaking after me, will talk about the startup visa that we have. We have a strong healthcare system that is attractive for businesses, and strong government policies as well, supporting the clean tech sector, innovation and commercialization of technologies as well. Next slide, Ryan. Thank you. So that's all the time I have, because I just wanted to give a quick overview before you hear from my colleague Cathryn, but also our 3 experts today. If you have any questions, if you are interested in connecting with Canadian companies, finding potentially a partner in Canada or sourcing technology, please get in touch with me. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Carolyn, for the sharing. So right next we have Cathryn Carlson, Senior Investment Officer, High Commission of Canada in Singapore, to share on Invest in Canada and Startup Visa. Cathryn is the Senior Investment Officer at the High Commission of Canada in Singapore. She is responsible for attracting foreign direct investment into Canada. She assists businesses of all sizes, including startups, to find opportunity and to set up in Canada. Cathryn, please.
Let me put up my presentation now. Let's see. Ryan, can you help me with my presentation? It's not coming up here. Oh, wait, here it is. Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. As Ryan has told you, my name is Cathryn Carlson, and I'm a senior investment.
Your slide is not up yet.
Oh, it's on my screen. Okay. Sorry, it's on my screen. Would you mind putting it up? I don't know what is going on. Let's see.
Sure. Just give me one
I don't need my slide right now anyway. As long as you guys can hear me. Anyway, okay. I don't need the slide, but yeah, okay, thank you. So I've been with the High Commission for the past 2.5 years, and my job is to help companies based in Singapore to invest in Canada. And that can be companies of any size. It can be large companies and also startups. Canada is firmly committed to attracting investment in the area of innovation. And what Canada is looking for is to create jobs, good jobs for Canadians, and to attract companies that are very innovative and companies that can compete on a global scale. So in 2019, Canada welcomed 341,000 new permanent residents. And the idea for this year is to increase that number to 370,000. Canada is a country with a population of around 36 million people at the moment. So this is substantial immigration. There's a vibrant ecosystem for startups in Canada, and that includes VC investors, angel investors, accelerators, and many other programs to encourage investment in innovation. And we're going to hear from 3 of those programs today. Canada also has very important free trade agreements in place, and this gives Canadian-based companies access to the North American market, to Europe, and also to the Asia-Pacific region under CPTPP. Canada can also be seen as a low-cost alternative to setting up in the United States. And it's arguably a more hospitable environment to live and to work in Canada. And Canadian cities, a number of cities, consistently rank very highly on the best cities to live in the world. So it's actually a great place to live. Today, I want to talk to you about the Startup Visa Program, which is one way that you can bring your startup to Canada. And there are several other ways as well, which are explained on our website, and I'll give you the details of the website a bit later. But this, I think, is a very good way for startups to move to Canada, and for the founders also to become permanent residents in Canada. Quebec has a slightly different program, so if you would be interested in going to Quebec, then there are some other elements which I could explain to you later if you contact me. So when I meet with startups and they tell me that they might be interested in going to Canada, I usually tell them, I think one of the most important things to decide early on in the process is, where do you want to set up your business in Canada? Which province? And that has a very important bearing on, the rest of the process for the Startup Visa Program. So, where is the best area in Canada for the type of business that you're doing? That could be pretty obvious with some research. And also maybe there are some programs that are specifically geared towards the industry that your company is in, and that could also determine where you might want to set up your business. So to get onto the Startup Visa Program, to be eligible, there are 4 criteria basically. So you have to have a qualifying business, which I will explain in a minute. You need to get a letter of support from what we call a designated organization. You have to meet some language requirements, which for everybody here in the audience, I don't think will be a problem. And you also have to bring enough money to settle in Canada. So the next slide, please, Ryan. So what is a qualifying business? And there's a lot of words on the slide, but it's not really very difficult. So up to 5 people can apply as owners of a startup to come to Canada. And each applicant must hold 10% or more of the voting rights in the company. And also the applicants together with the designated organization must jointly hold more than 50% of the voting rights. Also, at the time that you receive your permanent residence, Canada wants to be sure that you really are committed to Canada. So you must provide active and ongoing management of this business from within Canada. An essential part of your operations of the business must happen in Canada, and the business must be incorporated in Canada. So the next slide, please. So you also need to, I think I'm going to go on to the next slide. One of the requirements is to get a letter from a designated organization, a letter of support. So I want to first tell you what a designated organization is for the startup visa. So we have 3 different types, and all listed on the website, but we have venture capital funds, we have angel investor groups, and we have business incubators. So for each one of these three categories, there are a number of them listed on the website. So you have to get investment from specific venture capital funds, specific angel investor group, or you have to be accepted into specific business incubators. And we have those incubators with us today. For venture capital funds, there are 22 funds listed on the website, and you would have to get a minimum investment of $200,000 from one of these VC funds. And they are located in different areas of Canada. Anyway, it's less important where they are. For the angel investor groups, you need to get $75,000 investment, so a little bit less. And we have 9 angel investor group listed on our website. And finally, for the business incubator, we have 29 qualifying business incubators. And those are, you need to contact them, and you would have to be accepted into their program before you could apply for the startup visa program. And I think all the different types of designated organizations, they can also help you in the process of applying for the startup visa. So if we could go back to the previous slide. Yeah. So this one, yeah. So how get a letter of support from a designated organization? And sometimes this can seem daunting. You're here in Singapore, these designated organizations are in Canada, so how do you organize all of that? Well, first of all, you can talk to me and I can help you, which ones of these would be the best. We can give introductions to them, and help you with that. So you first need to contact the designated organization. You need to find out what their requirements are to provide the letter of support, because each one of them will have different requirements, and especially for investment, of course, they will have their own requirements. You have to, of course, convince the organization to have a great business idea that's worth supporting. And then finally, you have the letter of support, and you have to include that in your application. So next slide, please. 2 forward. Yes. So the third one is you have to meet the language requirements. So Canada has 2 official languages, which are English and French. And you have to take a language test from an approved agency, and you have to include that with your application so that it can be processed. So English is one of the languages of Canada, and I think everybody who's listening today can pass the English test, but you do still have to do it, and you have to show you are proficient in speaking, reading, listening, and writing. Next slide, please. And then finally, you have to bring enough money. You have to show us that you have enough money to settle in Canada. And it's not a great deal of money for one person. It's currently around 13,000 Canadian dollars. Canada does not give full support to startup visa immigrants. That's why you need to show us that you have enough money to survive for the first few months that you're in Canada. It's about $3,500 additional dollars for each for additional person that you want to bring from your family to Canada. And this amount of money is revised every year, so you have to look at that on the website when you're applying. Also, for the processing fee, it's about $2,000, and the process takes about 12 to 16 months. But our recent experience here in Singapore, it has taken much less time. I think maybe 6 to 8 months at the moment, so it can be faster. So anybody is interested in discussing this with me, and as I said, there are programs to set up in Canada in addition to the startup visa program. I'd be very happy to discuss these with you, and you can also have a look at our website, which is listed here on my slade, and here are my contact details, and I look forward to meeting you and to speaking with you. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Cathryn, for the sharing. So just give me one moment. All right. So right next, we will have Burak, Evren, Senior Marketing and Product Development Executive from Alacrity Canada, to share on the Cleantech accelerator program in British Columbia, focusing on energy. Burak is a seasoned professional with over 25 years of experience in marketing, product development, and digital transformation. Burak worked with the Alacrity Cleantech portfolio companies to address challenges in the targeted market and the Cleantech portfolio strategy, as well as supporting their marketing and business development efforts. Burak holds a BA degree from the University of Istanbul and a master's degree in global management from Royal Root University. So may I have Burak?
Hi, everyone. Let me first share my presentation. Can I share my screen, or you are going to share my presentation? How are we going to do it?
You can share your screen.
I think I am not allowed to.
Okay, no worries. I will do it.
Okay.
Give me one.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Ryan. Today, I will try to give you some information about Alacrity Canada in general and BC, and in our Cleantech program with BC here in Victoria. So first of all, my name is Burak Evren. I'm responsible for the Cleantech program at Alacrity. So we can start. Alacrity Canada have been established back in 2009 with a mandate to help the entrepreneurs and innovators and technology entrepreneurs in Canada. Can we go to the next slide, Ryan? So we try to help all the technology innovators here in BC, and our main mandate is helping out the technology companies and also connect them with financing and giving them mentorship, supporting their efforts in getting the new businesses. So we are a part of the Wesley Clover Group, and Wesley Clover Group is one of the biggest investment groups in Canada. So we have quite a good successful background in investment, but Alacrity Canada in itself is a not-for-profit, and our mandate is helping the companies in BC. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, we have quite a good global outreach. We have offices in UK, France, Turkey, in Dubai, one in India and China, and we also have a correspondent in Singapore. He's not mainly dealing with our Cleantech program. He's dealing with other programs that we have, because in Alacrity Canada, we have multiple programs, and Cleantech is one of the major programs that we're running at the moment. But we have quite a good experience and quite a big network of offices around the world, and getting in touch with all the potential investors, entrepreneurs, technology innovators in all these regions, and we have quite a good touch in all these regions. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah, so our program, Alacrity Cleantech Scale Up program, is a joint program between us and the provincial government of BC, and also it is getting support from the federal government. So our main mandate here is supporting the BC Cleantech companies in exploring international markets. And as Carolyn explained before, Cleantech companies overall in Canada have a successful background, and there is a very diverse number of industries and companies that are working in different areas, and they're so successful. And also BC has a great potential in going into international markets. So we are mentoring these companies and helping them to innovate on their business modeling and commercialization of their ideas. Up until now, the Cleantech Scale-Up program created over 100 new jobs in BC, and we have facilitated over $50 million investment into BC. And in the program, we have 27 portfolio companies. Again, they're not just in one area, they're in multiple areas, which is like water treatment, energy saving, ocean research, and different areas. But because Ecolabs is mostly interested in the energy saving side and energy resources, so I will give you a little insight about this part of our portfolio. When you look at the BC overall, the number of companies are too many. And to be honest, we are trying to get in touch with most of them during the process of choosing which companies are going to work together with us. But what we are trying to aim here is the companies who have a good potential in going out to international markets, who can create partnerships internationally, and also who can attract investment into BC. So these are mostly tier 4 or 5 companies who already have a commercial product and who can provide a pilot immediately as a solution. And also we have other programs. Ryan, if you go one more slide. Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to really go into details of that, but we have been successful in other programs also. Our entrepreneurship program is mainly aiming to help the students, and we are working very closely with the academic institutions in BC, together with University of Victoria, University of British Columbia, Royal Roads University, and other institutions. And we're trying to get more and more young entrepreneurs to get businesses up and going, helping them, mentoring them, and also finding the financial resources for them to build their own companies. So up until now, we have created over 250 new jobs in BC and facilitated over $40 million investment. And our investor readiness program was also another successful program that we run back in 2014 to 2017. And this has also facilitated over $225 million into BC. So overall, our economic activity attracted almost $300 million of investment into BC up until now. This includes the sales, exports, and all other licensing approaches. So what we are trying to do right now is we are working together with our Cleantech companies. Ryan, if you can go one more slide for me. Yeah, so what we do with our companies is we work together with them. We help them with their business models. Also, we find the opportunities in international markets. These opportunities are not only the clients or the businesses, but also any investors who wants to work with our companies, or any partner company who can extend their businesses beyond their own borders. So keeping that in mind, what we are thinking is most of our companies have a good potential to work with any investor or with partner companies in Singapore and help some of the solutions in Far East Asia and South Asian markets. For example, Penny Energy, I think, is not a foreigner to Singapore at all, because last year they had been they had won the HTO challenge in Singapore and got a funding, and they're well known in the area. And Penny Energy is providing an AI-based desalination optimization solution. So it's a software solution, but it's well known in India and in East Asia at the moment. Artelan Renewables is a new company that has joined us to our portfolio. They're providing a new creative way of using the wood pellets and getting higher energy efficiency using the very same standards and existing infrastructures. Odette is, again, another software-based company that is working on this side of collecting data through all the residential or office buildings and optimizing all the energy resources and the usage of that. First Eye Technologies is another company that we're working, and they have quite a good experience in especially North American markets, but now they're extending into Latin America and a few other markets together with us. First Eye Technologies is providing smart lighting systems for street lighting especially. So what they do is they use a solar system, they collect the energy, and they give the lighting on the streets, but they optimize the lighting according to the season and with a learning system at the back end. So it is quite a good and innovative system that is helping to keep the lighting in place, especially in the time of crisis when the all electric system goes down. They have tested their products, especially in the Atlantic, with different islands in the time of storm. So they hardly go down and they stay down in place. They still work. So it's quite a good, robust product they are providing at the moment. Accumulated Ocean Energy is another very creative and innovative company that is coming out of Victoria, or Vancouver Island, with a pump system, a compressing system that they're using the ocean waves to produce hydrogen, to produce electric energy, and at the same time desalinate the water. So this is a system with multiple use, and it has quite a good research at the background that has been done together with University of Victoria. And Plugzio is a recent addition to our portfolio. They're also working as a smart plugging system together with the GSM network, and also it gives you the flexibility of charging your any device. This can be a minimum use of your electricity in a hotel room that they can charge, the hotel can charge you your electricity, or if you are driving around with an EV, with an electric vehicle, through the Plugzio system, they can just count whatever you used or measure whatever you used as an energy, and they can bill you directly. So they have quite a good growth in California, in Texas right now, we know. And now they want to extend beyond, and they want to go to into international markets in Southeast Asia and India at the moment. So we are helping them. So in a nutshell, overall, the 6 companies are mainly in the energy efficiency side, but overall we have 27 companies, and in this 27, we have companies like working in water and soil treatment, ocean research, and also in areas of energy efficiency for oil and gas industry. Yeah, Ryan, if you can go one slide more. Yeah, so these are our partners. We are working very closely with the British Columbia provincial government, and also federal government is helping us with our mission. Wesley Clover is our sister company, and we are also working together with Sustainable Development Technology Canada and helping our companies to fund their efforts. And NECEC is another partner that we work together from Boston. They are concentrated on the energy and renewable energy side. And we also have all these institutions, academic institutions in the region that are working closely with us, and Google and Microsoft are also good partners. And we can go one more slide, and I'll be very fast. I see you, Ryan. I'll be very fast with that. Our investment network is so wide. We have, because of experiences with Wesley Clover, our relations are going back to 30 years almost. So we have quite a good amount of investor network, and we also can reach out to new capital investors, especially in the Cleantech area. So we are also working together with them very closely. So within our structure, we also provide some services to the companies. As explained before, we are also providing startup visa program here in our office at Alacrity Canada. So we are inviting investors, innovators to work with us, to go into international markets through Singapore, or to work together with our partners here and to develop the technology further. Ryan, if you can go one slide further. Yeah, so we are organizing many annual events. I'm not going to go into details because of the COVID. Some of them all moved into virtual area, but our Alacrity Cleantech Talks, our podcast, has seen a lot of interest, and we are talking about the Cleantech problems, challenges, issues, and funding issues all around, and this has been very successful. And also, every quarter of the year, we are bringing all the Cleantech CEOs around the round table and discuss the issues and the problems of the Cleantech overall. And Ryan, if you can go one, yeah. So through our partnership, you can have an access to many exclusive, events and also to companies. You can expose to partners, and there's a good alignment of partners benefit from alignment with cutting edge groups that support digital innovation. Yeah, I think that's overall. Did we come to the end? Yeah. So this is our shared space. Unfortunately, shared space is not open at the moment, but with a lot of precautions, we are opening it up again. But we are helping the companies with their marketing effort, with their investor relations, HR, admin, and legal, and also helping with their business development and mentoring them to make their best, to get the best out of their efforts overall. Yeah, I think this was the last slide. So if you want to reach out to me, you can send me an email or to our managing director, Richard. We are more than happy to help. And we are inviting all the companies, innovators and investors from Singapore to work with us. And we want to create better partnerships to expand in the region. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Burak, for sharing on the Alacrity Canada. So let me stop sharing this one. So next on will be Andrew Sanden, entrepreneur advisor at Platform Calgary. He will share on the innovation ecosystem and opportunity at Calgary. Andrew manages the startup visa program at Platform Calgary, helping foreign entrepreneurs achieve their dreams. Andrew has over 16 years of experience that span over technology, energy, and military spaces, notably at a multinational energy infrastructure company at a multinational defense industrial contract. Andrew, please.
Perfect. Thank you, Ryan. And everyone can see my screen, I hope. So I'm with Platform Calgary, and what we are is a city-based incubator. Sorry, I just got to make sure I'm on the right place. There we go. So we are a City of Calgary based incubator. And what we are is an ecosystem builder. So our goal is to make Calgary a global hub for startup and innovation. So rather than focus on Cleantech alone, I thought I'd take the conversation a step above and just talk about innovation in general. So what we're trying to do is build a globally connected entrepreneurship ecosystem for training, advice, mentorship, events, and connections, because we firmly believe that by connecting individuals, by creating opportunities to share ideas in a transparent and open environment, you will build a world-class ecosystem for innovation for whatever industry you want. How are we doing this? We're advancing awareness and capacity through open innovation. So working with corporate partners, working with municipal partners, provincial partners, and federal partners to talk about how do we innovate, how do we increase cultures of innovation. And then we're creating that citywide culture of innovation through the opening of what we're calling the Platform Innovation Center next year. And that's a building you see behind me. And even that building is unique in the fact that it's a partnership with our municipal parking authority, in that the top 5 stories are actually parking. But to future-proof it, we've architected it such that those top 5 floors can be converted to office space, residential space, whatever is needed once the need for parking decreases in the area, ideally with self-driving electric cars, whatever you might have. So our work is naturally embedded in the overall strategies to grow and develop our city. So we align ourselves with our Calgary's economic strategy. And our vision is to make Calgary the city of choice for the best entrepreneurs worldwide. So we embrace technology to solve the world's challenges, whether it's cleaner energy, safer food, better movement of foods and goods, or just better health solutions. So generating shared prosperity, we're a platform for creating shared prosperity for all Calgarians and all Albertans. And we invite anyone not from Calgary and Alberta into our facility to sort of share the experience. Only when innovation is actually part of your inherent culture will sort of the world prosper. There's healthy competition, but there's also that sort of healthy sharing. We don't want to leave anyone behind. So the Calgary economy is highly dependent on a sector undergoing rapid transition. So Calgary is very much fortunate to be an energy hub. And for the past 50, 60 years, that's been fossil fuels. We've had a few sort of critical moments where fossil fuels have crashed, and we've taken a look at what's next. In the 80s, it was when our organization was first established, to look at technology and clean technology and alternatives to fossil fuels. So what is our goal? Our ambitious goal is 1,000 core technologies in the next 10 years. So those aren't just companies using technology as a tool to assist their business efforts. It's companies actively developing new technologies. And what this means is our city will have an additional 45,000 jobs, $10 billion of gross domestic product, and become a top 50 global city. Where does Platform and sort of the startup ecosystem sit? In that very first phase. So right now we are approximately, these slides will be shared later, so I'm going to move to the next one. We're approximately 230 startups in our city today. Not a huge number, but in a city of 1.5 million, that's not bad. What we're looking at doing is getting 10 times that amount, 2,300 startups. So how do we work with that? We can't do it alone. We do it by partnering with organizations. So one of the key things we did 4 years ago is establish the Innovation Coalition of Calgary. We started with 18 members, now we're 35 members. And with that coalition, we're able to address early stage company needs much quicker. So when an organization comes into our facility, rather than spend 3 months assessing their needs, we're able to take 15 minutes and say, well, you need to talk to these 3 partner organizations to get the help you need. The other thing we did is partner with Startup Genome. So last year was our first year as part of the Startup Genome survey, and we were identified as a top 5 global connected city and a top 15 global clean technology ecosystem. So opportunities and challenges. We want to attract high potential individuals to start high potential technology. The great thing about Alberta and Calgary is because of the nature of a energy city, we have a high density of not only corporate headquarters, but incredibly educated and talented individuals. We're targeting acceleration, building on our sector strengths. We're bringing in more investors, and we're building on a high velocity culture, and sort of that innovation coalition helps increase that velocity by increasing the speed that information and connections can be facilitated. So I'll just breeze through these slides in the interest of time, but fostering community and economic growth. How do we do this? So creating a hub of hubs, a welcoming environment, a place that's connected around the world and not afraid to share connections and make introductions. 50,000 square feet dedicated to innovators, and not just innovators, community members, because if we just attract technology-focused individuals, we lose a lot of the benefits of artists, economists, writers, people adjacent to our ecosystem. So our 4 promises is 1 community, digital skills, creating the knowledge and the skills you need to thrive in this next economy. I mean, what we're talking about is this sort of 4th industrial revolution to bring ourselves into the digital world. Open innovation, so providing the space, tools, and people needed to disrupt your industry. And some ways we do this is roundtables with corporate innovators, partnerships with even our provincial real estate foundation, and running corporate accelerators such as the Royal Bank Social Enterprise Accelerator and the TELUS Technology Accelerator. And then 4th, startup formation and growth. So with that, it's really breakthrough support and investment from idea to scale. So not only are we working with entrepreneurs, we need to work with investors, with ecosystem members, corporate partners, ultimate customers, and investors. So I'll move on quickly to Cleantech specifically. So as I mentioned, last year we were identified as a top 15 global ecosystem for Cleantech. we in Alberta were the first jurisdiction in North America to put a price on carbon. And in 2003, Alberta introduced the Climate Change and Emission Management Act. And part of that act put a price on carbon and created a fund to invest in clean technology development. So if you look at the number of clean tech companies per million people, or by $1 trillion of GDP, we're actually at the top of the world. We have a significant number per population density of clean tech startups. We have somewhere between 150 to 300 clean technology ventures in Alberta, and 60% are based out of our city of Calgary. As I mentioned, we have a huge density of corporate headquarters, so it's only natural to be where your ultimate customers are. And as Carolyn mentioned, clean tech generates a huge amount of IP, and even our energy industry creates a huge amount of intellectual property. Around 1/4 of our companies in 2017 through this report raised over $1 million. So 1 in 4 clean tech companies were able to raise a significant amount of capital. But what's more interesting is 80% of Alberta's clean tech sector revenue is actually from outside of Canada. So we are export rich. The world looks to us for usable solutions. Part of the reason we can do this is entities like ACTIA. They are the Alberta Clean Technology Industry Alliance. So bringing in nonprofits, service providers, and corporate partners to have an open conversation about clean technology and how to move it forward. The Energy COSIA Carbon X Prize. So $20 million prize for carbon reduction or carbon utilization. 10 teams from 5 countries. 5 of those teams will test at Alberta's Carbon Conversion Technology Center, and the other 5 are testing in the US. And this is my last slide, but what I have here is the Alberta Clean Tech Ecosystem Map. Very tiny, you can't read it, but I attached a link there as well. But what it introduces is a variety of funding opportunities, growth opportunities, and connection opportunities to learn more about how Alberta and Canada facilitates clean technology. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Adrian. So now we will have Sophie Chen, Marketing Director, Asia of Invest Ottawa, to share on Ottawa, an innovation hub for clean connected technology. Sophie has been leading the Department of Trade, Investment and Innovation Partnership Opportunity for the Ottawa region in the Asian market. She held multiple positions, including Senior Business Development Manager, Director for Data and Research at Ottawa Center for Research and Innovation, and Invest Ottawa in the past. Sophie, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's my honor to be here, joining all my colleagues here to talk about opportunities on clean tech in Canada's capital city. So many people know Ottawa as the national capital of Canada on the political side. But I also want to introduce to you today on the innovation side, because Ottawa really is an innovation hub for clean and connected technologies in Canada. So today I'm going to take some time to introduce some of the area that might be of interest to you. But before I do that, I quickly would like to talk about our organization, Invest Ottawa. So we are the regional economic development agency based in Canada's national capital city. Like many of my colleagues, today, you just heard from their presentation, we have similar functions, but we are also very unique in Canada because we are the only organization in Canada that has both the startup function, which means we provide programs through our venture development team to support all the early stage and startup companies to foster entrepreneurship, and we have our own accelerator and incubation programs to support these programs. But we also have the global team and the foreign direct investment attraction and other strategic sector programs under one umbrella. So in many other cities and many other provinces in Canada, normally these are, like distributed among several organizations. But in Ottawa, these functions are all centralized under one roof of Invest Ottawa. So we have an advantage of actually coordinating better among the ecosystem to provide the comprehensive support the companies may need from our ecosystem. So I just mentioned about our venture development team, but we also have other 3 programs, especially the ones on talent. We actually have a specialized program to attract world-class technology talent to create high-value jobs in our region. And we also recently launched a major program called Ottawa Air 5. So it's the first integrated CAV test environment of its kind in North America. Later on, I'm going to talk more about this specific program because it offers quite a lot of opportunities for clean tech companies interested in connectivity related applications. So Ottawa, as I mentioned, is the capital city of Canada, but we are also a major technology hub in Canada. Our regional population is slightly over 1.3 million people. But if you look at the total number of workers in the ICT workforce or the technology workforce, we actually have 10% of the total workforce in the technology sector. So that's really significant. If we look at clean tech specifically, we have about 200 companies concentrated here to produce innovative technologies in the clean tech area. And about 5,500 employees actually working in this sector. So we are pretty, much focused on several areas in our region, from biorefinery, the recycling, recovery, remediation programs. And also we have a lot of good water technologies, like our colleagues at the federal level mentioned about Canada actually has quite a lot of good water technologies. And Ottawa actually is lucky enough to host some of them here. Also on the energy infrastructure and smart grid side, we have quite a lot of companies on the software side and also on the communication side to offer the type of energy infrastructure and innovative technologies for smart grid. And also for connectivity technologies offered, is also tied into this area. Besides for energy efficiency and green building applications, also on the hotspot in Ottawa recently for clean tech applications. Like many of my colleagues mentioned today, clean tech applications are really across many different sectors in terms of verticals. So we attracted quite a lot of Fortune 500 companies here to set up, their lab here, and also R&D centers. For example, like Honeywell, Johnson Controls, all these companies, they are located here. But what's more important, we offer a very good ecosystem for startups and SMEs to build successful startup companies here in the clean tech area. As you can see, our local R&D and innovation ecosystem for clean tech is comprised of what we call a triple helix from the government side, the academic research side, and the industry side. So from the industry side, you can see some of the companies, for example, GAN System is actually one of the top 100 clean tech company, in the world, my colleagues on the federal level mentioned about, the top 100 clean tech list. So GAN System is one of them. And we also have other companies like Solantro, Tandem, Geotech. They are all actually, focusing on different type of, applications on the industry side. Many of them are creating a lot of good IP and innovative technologies, cutting edge applications here. On the research side, as the national capital city, we have a lot of advantages. we are home to about 65 national research labs and quite a lot of government departments focusing on clean tech area. For example, the Environment and Climate Change Canada is located right here. And NRCan has, the CanMet Energy Lab right located here. NRC, which is the largest, national research institution in Canada, has, quite a lot of, lab research down here in the clean tech area here in Ottawa as well. So in terms of center of excellence, we have also, different areas of focus. For example, the Sanden is one of the center of excellence offering the next generation networks here, and it also offers a lot of opportunities for SME and startups to provide the solutions and partnership. So not even mentioning about all the other business supporting area, including Invest Ottawa and all the other areas, that offer the innovation support for startup companies interested in setting up here. So this really gave the startup companies a very good opportunity to leverage everything we have and the benefits we have in the National Capital Region. One good thing about Ottawa also on the connectivity side, as I mentioned, we are building a clean connected community here in Canada as an eco-city. So Ottawa is responsible for 90% of Canada's industrial telecom communications R&D here. So almost all the major optical networking firms are located here in Ottawa to offer R&D, capabilities. So with that, we also, is ranked high in terms of technology talent concentration. We have the highest technology concentration in all of Canada, and we ranked the second highest in North America, only after Silicon Valley. So that gave us really good advantage to continuously build the strength in our region to, to build the sustainable community for, innovation solutions, especially for clean tech area. And one last thing that made us, really, on top of the list for, interested companies to set up shops here and also to, build clean tech innovation companies here. Our cost of living is actually the lowest among all the top 5 largest cities in Canada. So that gave entrepreneurs and the owners of startups a really good city to choose from because of the affordability. With all the good benefits we offer, and we are not even the most expensive city in Canada to choose from. So that's also a very good news for entrepreneurs and startup companies in the clean tech area. And that also gave us an opportunity to build a vibrant green community. So one of the major projects we recently launched is called ZB. This is a project done by one of the company located in Ottawa called Windmere Development. So they offered, one of the one planet living framework, and it's supposed to build the one of the most sustainable community in Canada. So this is the picture of the final community vision, and they have incorporated all the energy saving, energy efficiency, green building concept into this whole community called ZB. So, and this is right downtown in Ottawa, right beside the waterfront. So really it's a very attractive opportunity for startups and big companies to offer their solutions that can be applied in this community. What's more important today, I really want to take a few minutes to talk about our Air 5 opportunities. This is one of its kind in North America, very unique because we are the only one that offers the 5G V2X Smart City Living Lab in Ottawa with all weather conditions that you can do to test any clean tech connectivity technologies you would like to try. So funding partners for this, we partner with a lot of major companies. For example, QNX BlackBerry, which is a very well-known Canadian company on the connectivity side, and especially QNX, they offer the control system into all the tier 1 car manufacturings. For example, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Porsche, the luxury cars you may drive. If you look inside, many of the core operating systems is offered by QNX. So this is actually the newer areas of clean tech applications for building connected and clean solutions for smart city. And others, partners, for example, Nokia, City of Ottawa, Microsoft, they also offer different components that help us building this, national testing site. On the technology side, we already attracted a whole bunch of startups and bigger companies here to showcase their technologies, how it can help us build the sustainable community here to leverage all the clean and connected solutions on the sensor side, on the IoT side. So these are the most recent application areas in clean tech. So for example, Origo, it's an electrical autonomous like a vehicle, like a port. So they also offer electrical and autonomous minibus. So in the future, you don't, if you are at airport or in some enclosed like a gate area, so this can offer really good clean solutions to reduce emissions and also offer the autonomous driving capabilities for the transportation method. So we already developed a showcase in partnership with Transport Canada in one of the city areas. So in the future, when you get off the metro, and you can actually leverage the autonomous driving minibus to drop you off as a last mile solution to your office. So which is really eco-friendly solutions, to build that kind of convenience. And on the research partner side, we also work with all the major universities here in Ottawa, and we also work with Canada North Technology Park, which is actually the largest technology park in Canada. One of the colleagues, Burak, mentioned about Wesley Clover. So Wesley Clover is actually the owner of the Canada North Research Park, and it's right located in Ottawa. So they are also working with quite a lot of other cities to build innovative companies, especially on the startup and entrepreneurship side. They do a lot of investment as well. So I need to be faster. So the other thing I want to mention is Ottawa is the first municipality in Canada to connect an autonomous vehicle to a live city street infrastructure. That's also one of the major, achievement we did in the National Capital Region. So again, all these autonomous vehicle driving, electric cars, connected cars are the new hotspots in clean tech application areas. So any companies from Singapore interested in offering innovative solutions, we would welcome them to come to Ottawa to leverage these opportunities in the testing site. So again, I already mentioned this. So on the public testing side, I mentioned we are the first city that did the autonomous driving test on live infrastructure, but we also built the smart intersections on the public testing track in one of the area called the Canada Research Park. I just mentioned it's the largest research park in Canada. So the circle I just highlighted using my mouse is 9 kilometers of paved public road with all smart intersections built around this area. So for all these intersections, we have different sensors, to test like wind sensors, road pavement monitoring sensors, or the IoT devices that can commute, on the live stream, about the traffic conditions and the road conditions to all the vehicles to reduce, the potential traffic jam, to build a sustainable eco-city. So these are also very critical and very innovative, ways to make it happen. And on the public, on the private,
perhaps you can go faster.
Yeah. So on the private side, as I mentioned, we have provided 16 acres of land close to our private, area. Those new applications, including like a precision agricultural testing bed. Again, these are all like very cool, innovative solutions to offer to startup companies the partnership to test any opportunities you may want to offer that tie in these areas. So with that being said, I mean, these are just some showcase, like for example, on the golf course, we also offered the autonomous port to drive people around. So you don't really need to, do your own cart anymore. In the future, it's all autonomous. And we have invited quite a lot of startups already, like from the drone area, from different connectivity area. This is the autonomous port I mentioned for electric and autonomous port. And we have like autonomous cars that can carry, like equipment following people. So you don't really need to drive that, and it's totally on batteries. So these are all very cool things, we want to showcase to you. And lastly, I just want to wrap up my presentation with one quote from our minister from the Environmental and Climate Change, Minister McKenna. Because we are the capital city, so we always want to, show the political side. We actually, Canada as a government committed to purchase 100% renewable power for government operations by 2025. So that's significant commitment on the government side to make things happen as well. By the way, Minister McKenna is also the MP representing the Ottawa region, not just on the federal side, but she's also from Ottawa. So finally, with all these things I mentioned, we also offer a one-stop shop services for all the startup companies in Singapore interested in the clean tech opportunities, from the initial inquiry all the way to a fully operational North American office. So we offer everything you may need from accounting, legal, HR, local business or network engagement, and etc. So anything you may need in that whole process, we will have a red carpet, white glove services for you. So with that, I would like to wrap up my presentation. So hopefully we'll work with our federal colleagues there in Singapore, and we welcome everyone to the National Capital City of Canada in Ottawa. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie, and all the speakers for your very impressive sharing. We are a bit overrun, so if you don't mind, I do want to get the audience to ask some questions. I already see one hand raised. Hold on, give me one moment. So let me go to Rao. Rao, I have allow you to speak. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. We'll try to take maybe 2 or 3 questions before we end the session today, if the speakers are okay. Thank you so much.
Hi, folks. Caroline, Cathryn, Burak, Andrew, Sophie. It's an extraordinary talk. I really enjoyed it. My name is Rao Manukutla. I'm a Singaporean currently living in Bengaluru. I'm building a Bengaluru airport city as the chief executive officer here, and it is fully owned subsidiary of Bangalore International Airport. I'm very proud to say 54% of this is owned by Canadians. Mr. Prem Varsa of Fairfax International Holdings. He owns this company. Okay, so last week I was talking to him. This is a really extraordinary talk, what you guys have done it. So we are building our airport city as sustainable, smart, and vibrant. So I don't want to take much of your time, okay? And we are also building a startup valley here. I like to invite all of you to use our platform. After all, we are the startup capital of India. Bengaluru is the startup capital of India. So there are a lot of similarities between Bangalore, Singapore, and Silicon Valley. Personally, I don't know a lot about Canada. That's my weakness. Okay, except that I work for a Canadian company. Okay, so I welcome all of you to our platform to grow, because after all, it is a country of 1.35 billion population. You can really grow. Recently, Miss Nicole Girard, Consulate General of Canada, and Miss Elish Campbell, Chief Trade Commissioner, they visited us. They really want to work with us. So all of you are welcome. So please use this as a platform for your growth. Likewise, we send the startups from here to your country, your views place. And I will reach out to all of you.
All right, thank you, Ralph, for the excellent comments. We have, maybe we can take one or two questions to the audience. Do you have any questions for any of the speakers? All right, I think we are good. So thank you everyone for attending today's session. Thank you, Caroline, Cathryn, Burak, Andrew, and Sophie so much for the insightful sharing on the program and offerings at Canada. In fact, I really love Canada. Been there a few years ago and really excited, wanting to go back there again. As we come to the end of today's Ecolab webinar sessions, thank you so much again. And at the end of this webinar, there will be a survey for all of you to give feedback to enhance our future webinars, to continue to provide excellent webinar sessions like today. So please follow us on the Ecolab LinkedIn page and join us live next Monday on the 22nd of June at 3:30 p.m. Singapore time for the next Ecolab webinar series, Ecolab Market Entry Program by Naku Nafaji, Lead Energy Efficiency at Ecolab Center of Innovation for Energy. So meanwhile, stay at home, be safe and healthy. Thank you so much, and thank you all the speakers for joining us, and have a good evening in Canada. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Thank you, Ryan. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.